Welcome God of War fans! My name is Shane Static, and this is the God of War Valkyries ranked, as in all the Valkyries in God of War ranked from my least favorite to my favorite. Please leave a like if you did enjoy your time here, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my future content. Here we go. So the Valkyries in God of War, as you know, at least if you have heard me talk about the Valkyries in my past videos, are my favorite part of God of War. From their amazing designs to their epic fighting abilities, they are amazing in my opinion. But who is my favorite and my least favorite Valkyrie? I'm going to take into consideration their designs, their backstories, and just the amount of fun that I had taking them down. So, who's your favorite Valkyrie? Leave it in the comments down below, and let's discuss it. But for now, let's get into God of War Valkyries ranked. Coming in at the number 9 spot in my least favorite Valkyrie is Eir, the Valkyrie healer. Eir is actually mentioned in Norse mythology in both the prose and poetic Eddas, which is the Icelandic tellings of the Norse tales. Like mentioned by Mimir, she was not like the other Valkyries. Where the others were hell-bent on war and battle, Eir was more worried about the others around, and was known to heal mortals and gods alike. Even my new favorite character Mimir was once healed by Eir one day when he became stupidly drunk and fell off a mountain. But Eir came to his aid, and it's probably because of her that we have our own severed head of mischief attached to our belts during our playthroughs of God of War. Now Eir made it so low on this list not because she wasn't fun to fight against, because she was with her blocking and the fact that she gave little openings during battle. To be completely honest, she is so low on this list because of her design. Now don't kill me in the comments for that one, but I am not a fan of her helm in general. She just looks sleepy, and I just want her to scare me because she is going to kick my ass. Fun fact though, did you know that in Kratos' home in Midgard, there is a book that shows how to use herbs to create a healing ointment that is meant to pay homage to Eir? Pretty cool, right? Coming up on the number 8 spot on this list is Kara, the Wild Storm. Kara is known as a wild storm personified because she is very calm and collected in one moment, and everything could change at a drop of a hat, where she would unleash her wrath upon whoever was around. Now Kara has a very interesting but slightly confusing mention in a poem in the Poetic Edda. So reincarnation is mentioned in the Old Norse tales such as this one. So Sigrun and her lover in mythology Helgi die and are reincarnated as Valkyries, but Sigrun is reincarnated as the daughter of Kara, or is Kara. It is a little confusing, but this is kind of what I found out. Now, why does Kara find herself in the number 8 spot on this list? To be honest, I hated fighting Kara during my playthrough of God of War. Not that herself was particularly hard, she had the smallest amount of health among all of the Valkyries, a small set of moves that was easily remembered, and staggers easily to Kratos' attacks. The reason why I hated fighting against her were those stupid Draugr that she constantly brought in to fight. Now those guys were really annoying, because they just got in the way. I know that was the point, but I just didn't like having to deal with them and a Valkyrie. The reason why she is higher on this list than Eir is because of her design, which I think was one of the more memorable designs that took inspiration from a ram. Awesome design, Kara, but your Draugr suck. Now, if you like my editing, my content, and or my scripts that I use in my videos, I am actually going to offer my services to you for a small fee. If you would like me to edit or write a script for you, please hit me up by email, which is in my About section on my channel page. Now, back to the video. In at the number 7 spot on this list is Gunnar, the Mistress of War. Gunnar in Norse mythology is mentioned to be one of the 3 Valkyries to ride out and choose the worthy dead to bring to Valhalla, and Gunnar, among the other 2, would even decide the outcome of the battle itself. Gunnar took a ton of pride in this. In God of War, Gunnar was always the first to arrive to a battle, and even was present during minor scuffles as well. Gunnar was also known to be a very powerful resource to the Allfather Odin himself. This made Gunnar one of Odin's favorite Valkyries. Now Gunnar only made it to number 7 on this list because she was more than likely the first Valkyrie that we come across during our playthroughs. And due to this, she is also easy to defeat. Now I really do like her design, which is based off a raven, which, let's be honest, I love ravens, but taking her down was almost too easy. Her scythe attack was very easy to parry, and her unblockable wing attack is very easy to dodge. Gunnar also has a low amount of health and staggers easily just like Kara, but unlike Kara, it is just Gunnar we face, which made it much easier. Now I know she should be easier because we do come across her early-ish in the game, but it was still a little too easy in my opinion. Coming up on the number 6 spot on this list is Gertrupal, the Master of Arms. Gertrupal is another Valkyrie name in Norse mythology, but not very much is known about her. In God of War, she is the Master of Arms in Valhalla and trains all the slain warriors to battle for Odin. Their job come Ragnarok is to defend Asgard when the giants, led by Loki, march and swarm the home of the gods. So Gertrupal has her hands pretty full when she's not locked up in a chamber located in the foothills of Midgard. Okay, when facing Gertrupal during my playthrough of God of War, I actually really enjoyed fighting her. She would slightly shroud the battlefield with a mist, so visibility was not the best, and she was great at misdirection. Many of her attacks had a wind-up at the beginning, so they could be mistaken for one another. And her helm design takes inspiration from an owl, which is one of my favorite animals if you didn't already know that, since my channel picture is an owl. Now, if I like Gertrupal so much, why does she end up on number 6? Well, this also goes back to how I'm ranking the Valkyries in the first place. I'm taking into consideration their designs, backstory, and how I enjoyed fighting them. I like fighting against Gertrupal, but her design, I was not much of a fan for. It may be because I do love owls and was hoping for something a little more, I guess, mystical. And she really doesn't have much of a backstory, only that she is a known Valkyrie. So that is why Gertrupal is at number 6. Now, up at the number 5 spot on this list is Rhoda, the Chooser of the Slain. Rhoda in Norse mythology is actually in several texts of the Norse lore, right beside Gunnar in the Prose Edda, and Chooser of the Slain is her main objective and obligation. Now I know that choosing of the worthy dead to take to Valhalla is what the Valkyries are most known for, but Rhoda took a great deal of pride in her duties, making sure that Helheim did not overflow with the dead. Now she must be really pissed, because she could not perform her duties while locked away in her physical form. And she must be even less happy since she was locked in Helheim around all the souls that flooded the realm. Now, I actually had a very hard time taking on Rhoda. She is really, really fast and loves to pound your face into the stone with her heels. She uses a lot of grappling attacks to do so, and I had a very hard time getting out of her way because of her speed. But eventually, I did take her down. But in saying this, I absolutely love her design, which has taken inspiration from a deer. Just take a look. Gold helm with green cloth, and I do think those are red leaves on her wings. Beautiful. But why does she end up at number 5 if I like her so much? Well, while I love her design and she was difficult to take on, I like other Valkyries a little bit better, so stay tuned. Coming up on the number 4 spot on this list is Hilde, the Mistress of Battle. Hilde has a pretty cool power in Norse mythology. She could revive the dead on the battlefield and pretty much is battle personified. In God of War, she actually does not get along with the other Valkyrie sisters and spends a lot of time in Midgard watching the arguments and fighting amongst the mortals. And to make matters a little bit worse, she actually starts some of the arguments and fights herself. She pretty much lives for conflict. Like said before, she does not get along well with the other Valkyries, but the one person, or god, who she gets along the best with was Odin. Now, I loved facing off against Hilde, especially when she was the Valkyrie that was hidden away in Niflheim, the realm of fog. Just the setting alone was amazing and gave the battle a kind of creepy but mysterious vibe, especially since she is the only one with a distant ice attack, which was completely awesome. And her wing design is amazing. The vibrant blue with the gold is probably my favorite wing design of all the Valkyries. Her helm, however, is not my favorite though. It is not my least favorite by far, but I think it was a little lackluster in my opinion. But I do like what Hilde's helm was designed after, which was that of a boar, which was pretty cool in my opinion. All in all, very cool Valkyrie. Coming in at the number 3 spot on this list is Ulrun, the Valkyrie historian. Ulrun is another Valkyrie name in Norse mythology, but with a pretty cool backstory as well. She was a Valkyrie and daughter of a king. One day, she met a man by the name of Egil, and they were married not long after. After several years, she and 2 other Valkyries left to find battle, and she never returned to Egil. So, Egil left his land to find her, but no one knows if he was successful. Now in God of War, the story changes a little. Ulrun was a daughter of a chieftain, but one day their village was attacked, and she died trying to protect her father and others. When she was brought to Valhalla, Odin made her a Valkyrie because of her bravery and her pursuit for knowledge like the Allfather. Odin also made her the Valkyries' resident historian. Now I had a slightly difficult time fighting Ulrun. She doesn't have the highest amount of health or stun resistance, but why she was slightly difficult was you could not run and attack her, but had to wait for her to come to you. So this meant you had to dodge and parry for most of the battle, and it is more of a patience game. Now her design I really like as well, mostly her helm, which took inspiration from an eagle, with her wings on her head and what looked like long flowing silver hair coming out the back. To me she seemed powerful, but yet beautiful. Up in the numbers 2 spot on this list is Sigrun, the Valkyrie Queen. Sigrun actually has a pretty sad story in mythology. In Norse mythology, Sigrun was in love with Helgi, but was promised to another ruler. Helgi then invades his kingdom and kills everyone but Sigrun's brother Dagger. Dagger swore revenge on Helgi and kills him after conspiring with Odin, who gave him a magic spear. Dagger tells Sigrun what he did, and she put a powerful curse on him to live off dead, decaying animals in the woods. Sigrun dies not much later due to a broken heart, and is reincarnated as a Valkyrie, which she is either the daughter of Kara or is Kara, one or the other. In God of War, she is replacing Freya as the Valkyrie Queen after Freya's banishment, and also the lover of Mimir. Now, facing Sigrun was the biggest challenge in God of War, in my opinion. I had such a hard time because Sigrun uses a mixture of all the Valkyries' attacks during the fight, and I died a lot. Not sure how many times, but a lot. But after defeating her, I felt so accomplished and a huge adrenaline rush, she had to be high on my list. And her design is amazing, taking inspiration from a dragon. She holds a striking figure of pure gold and blood red, which is a great combination. But if Sigrun is not the number 1 pick, who is? Well, if you know the Valkyries, you know the one I have not discussed yet. Now, in at the number 1 spot, and my favorite Valkyrie is Gondol, the Fire Valkyrie. Yes, Gondol is my favorite Valkyrie for sure, hands down. She is mentioned in Norse mythology as a Valkyrie in the Poetic Edda along with many of her sisters. And she has a pretty cool backstory in God of War as well. In God of War, Gondol was considered to be the most beautiful of all the Valkyries. She was extremely well spoken, has an extremely sharp wit, and was so stunning that it drove the likes of mortal men to insanity, to which Odin had to step in. After a while, Odin forbid Gondol to step foot in Midgard because he didn't want any of his warriors in Valhalla to go insane after seeing her. She even was able to take Mimir's breath away every time he saw her. Now, her beauty from her backstory is actually transferred into her design as well because I believe she is the best designed Valkyrie, bar none. From her dark gold wings to her fire red feathers to her amazingly designed helm, which takes inspiration from a vulture, I absolutely love her design. And battling her was a huge amount of fun for me. She was difficult with fireballs that she hailed from the sky, and fire she made appear from the ground. Also, her heavy damage when all of her attacks hit. So you better be ready to parry and dodge a lot. And I had to do it a lot with her aggressive battle style. And how she is locked away in Muspelheim, which is an amazing scenery. I love facing Gondol, and all of these reasons, this is why she is my favorite Valkyrie in God of War. So, who's your favorite Valkyrie, and why? Tell me in the comments down below, and let's discuss it. My name is Shane Static. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.